Back here on yet another lovely Wednesday afternoon on your favorite program on radio, on television rather. I'm talking Flipside on independent television, broadcasting live from the city of Bronx. Yes, Flipside is one program that seeks to take a look at issues from a very balanced perspective. Okay, so just like the name implies, while there's this temptation to want to focus on issues from the very popular perspective, it's also very important that you try to strike a balance by looking at it from the not so popular perspective. So that's basically what Flipside is all about, and it comes your way every Wednesday on this station. My name is Harry Iboje, and of course, it's my pleasure to have you join me on this episode of the show. And today we are having a very robust discussion, something that has to do with Western civilization. Some persons have argued that it has come to stay. So it's part and parcel of who we are as a people. Yes, of course, we've not always been civilized in terms of Western influence, but over time we've given room for a lot of influence from the West. So that's basically what we're taking a look at today. In what ways has Western civilization affected us? So today we're taking a look at the topic, the influence of Western civilization on African cultural values. Yep, that's basically what we're talking about today. And I'm supposed to have two guests, okay, with me, but for now, I just have one, and hopefully somewhere along the line we'll be able to have the second one join us. Now, joining me on today's episode of the show is someone who happens to be a public affairs analyst, a clergy, and of course, an instructor. He goes by the name of Kingsley Ikeke. It's good to have you in the house, Kingsley.
It's good to be here, my brother.
Welcome, sir. It's been a while.
Thank God for everything, and thank God for life.
Okay, now, just before we set the ball rolling, we shall be going on the first break of the show, and when we return, the program will be beginning in earnest. Please stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's Flipside on independent television, and today we're taking a look at Western civilization and its influence on African cultural values. Now, we have our values as Africans, right? We have our ways of life, or our ways of doing things, you know, from music to marriage to food, you know, to even the way we talk, right? The language that we speak. So there's a whole lot that constitutes the African culture. But with the incursion of the West, right, with the coming of the white man, a whole lot changed about us. In fact, it's still changing. It's like a continuum, right? Where we were some 10 years ago is not where we are today. So it seems like the Western influence, you know, remains, and it continues to change us. So that's basically what we're looking at today. How has the Western influence affected us? How has it changed us? So let's start like this, Mr. Kingsley. The Western civilization, is it a gift or a curse, or a Trojan horse?
It's okay. Thank you, Harry.
First off, it's good to have you in the house. Like.
Okay. I want to say this. First of all, what is culture? First of all, actually, culture is a belief or custom,
okay,
act of a people or a group of persons in a particular place.
Okay.
Then when you say the Western invasion or incursion, it's more like saying the adoption of a different culture,
okay,
an already existing culture. And when we use the word westernization, it means an act of almost eroding what you had previously and adopting something completely strange. So I would say to an extent, looking at how it has affected us so far, it's a blessing on one side, because it's a beauty to get to know that you are not an island. No tree makes a forest.
Okay.
So it's good to know how other persons are living in the other part of the world. And it also brought some bit of technology modernization into our culture, which are plus, or what I would call additions or advantages of the Western culture. But to completely look at it, you see that it has its own negative impact. Because what we have not realized as Nigerians, you know, Nigeria is highly diversified when it comes to culture.
Yeah.
It carries a lot of economic value. We have not realized that. And that's why most of the things that we, you know, they still call us an importing country. Is it third world or developing? Developing.
Third world
Because everything we are looking for, we are importing. Everything we need, we are bringing from the Western part of the
So does that
world.
imply that we're over-reliant on
Yes, it has made us to be too dependent and too attached
to the West?
to the West,
Okay.
and it's wrong. We must begin to see the values that we carry as Africans or as indigenous people. You know, when I was trying to look at this, I remember people like David Doe, people like Burna Boy. Go and check their history. They particularly studied abroad, but look at their music. In fact, the reason why it is global is because of the native content. You hear Burna Boy say, "I don't want nobody to give my matter kill leg." That's not English.
Okay.
It's pidgin.
Yeah, sure.
You see, and the white man appreciates what he doesn't know, because when you say news, when something is new, that's news.
Yeah.
And when you bring your culture, it's news because it's strange to them,
yeah.
And it creates a curiosity. What are they doing?
True.
You know, I remember Bright Chimizi sing one song he was singing then, and they said he was committing suicide. If you remember that song, he was swallowing, taking swallow.
Yeah.
Said the white man where they here say I'm committing suicide.
Yeah.
Because to him, he has never seen such. You know, so I think there's beauty in every culture, and there may be some gray areas though. But there is beauty, and it gives you an identity. It makes you unique. And other persons come to look at, are people like this? People exist like this? Are things still done in this manner? It stirs up their curiosity. And they can come from any part of the world to come and observe what you are doing here. Okay. So that's why I said, if we are going to start adopting theirs completely, it's going to be a setback for us, not only in terms of our history, a setback to us in terms of our economy, okay, and our values. So I don't think it's a complete plus for them. It's a dual thing. Okay. It has positive and it has a negative end. That's my personal opinion.
A dual thing. Ramsey, do you share that thought? Do you believe that the Western culture is a gift to us, much more than a curse?
It's actually, to me, I would say, it's a Trojan horse. Beautiful at the surface. But looking deeper, you find out that there are a lot of causes that come with westernization. You know, the white men came to our land with the mindset of exploration and exploitation. And from there, he dovetailed into slave trade. And when slave trade was abolished, they went into colonialism. They were not interested in administration. In the imposition of their super nature, they believe they are more civilized, their culture and all that. Superior nature, I beg your pardon. Yeah. On a lesser society. They said it's lesser. But I believe that the society has their own uniqueness, and African has its own uniqueness. So what I don't want to agree with is, I must give a working definition of what you call westernization or civilization. Okay. Because in our own way as Africans, we are civilizing, we are developing. It was just an invasion. They invaded our culture.
Civilization in this context is relative.
It's to me, civilization in this context is, we were civilizing our own way. So they didn't bring civilization to us. Instead, I think it's the opposite. Okay. And I will urge everyone to go and read the book by Wataroni, How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. Yeah. Now, you see, they asked us to pray. While we close our eyes to pray, they were still in our lands, our products, our goods, our oil. And they came here to source for raw materials. They said we should stop inhumanity, barbarism, and all that we were cannibals. But they introduced slave trade. You said you are coming here to colonize or teach people the rightful way, but you were introducing slave trade, you were selling them to your plantations and all that. So to me, civilization, or what you call westernization, is actually more of a curse than a blessing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, now let's begin to look at the issues critically. In what ways would you say Western religion and education has influenced our culture? In what practical ways? Mr. Kingsley.
There are areas, like I said earlier, that are positive. Okay. For instance, now we are using the media to communicate.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The black man, I think one of the biggest challenges he has is leadership. It's not as if we're not intelligent, though. Most of the things, gadgets we're using here, they are foreign. They are not manufactured here. Not because we don't have the ingenuity. Because in as much as I want to agree with my colleague here that it's like kind of invasion, because if you have read Daniel chapter 1, you see something like that. The king then was Nebuchadnezzar. He wanted some of the brilliant youths from the tribe of Israel to be brought. And he changed their name and tried to change their language so as to suit what he was doing. But
more like colonizing.
Yeah, sort of. But you see, they held their sway. four of them, Shadrach, Meshach, Daniel, and Abednego, they held their sway when it comes to certain matters. This is our custom, this is our belief. We are not going to trade it for your own custom. When you ask them to bow before the graven image, they refuse. So what we did wrongly as Africans is that when these white men came, he talked about slave trade. It was still within the blacks to sell themselves. Some of the blacks felt they were better than some and made some of them slaves and sold them to the white men.
So there was this superiority complex even within
the black community. So we made it easy by just allowing them have their sway. Instead of keeping what we have and take what we felt was okay or good from them and discard what is not what is improper. We kept it, and we worked on it even till today. Many of us are saying this now. You'll be shocked the number of you looking for a visa to run away. They came before to pick us. Now we are going there by ourselves. This is voluntary slavery. Right. So when we talk about mental slavery, we have not been delivered from it. We are still in the same quagmire. It has not changed.
Okay.
So I would say yes to an extent. Like I said earlier, it's a blessing. It has opened our eyes to certain realities, certain things that, like what we're doing in our earlier days, those are our subsistent kind of farming and stuff like that. We are doing something far more better because population is actually growing. And like I also said, the knowledge that they brought from their end was to be an advantage. If not for the advanced weaponry, there was no way Benin Kingdom would have been invaded. There was no way, because it was a renowned kingdom with warlords.
So when you say advanced weaponry, we had geniuses here who could produce such weapons. But how come they were able to subdue us with their own superior weapons?
Yes, because you see in technology we share, we learn. There are certain things and you have certain limitations. And if you have this interactive on an equal perspective, that's what we have not had all this while. We've been dealing with them as a slave master kind of relationship. That's why we're suffering. If we had this equality concept, check what is happening in the United States of America. Most of the so-called engineers, high-level engineers, doctors, aeronautic engineers, they are Nigerians. It's supposed to say doctors, some highly placed persons, the most intelligent knowledge is a Nigerian.
So you're saying that
the society does not allow them to try.
You're saying that we had an equal degree of genius.
Obviously, I can tell you that without mincing word. We have the same degree of intelligence. That's why in my field of study,
it was superior.
In my field of study, I don't allow any. I've interacted with white people online and on video, and we've worked on researches. I don't allow them downplay my intelligence, and they don't, because they know I know what I'm saying.
Okay.
But you see, we have a bad system. Okay, they're not even here now. Check the way our systems are running. If you have the money, you can have the certificate. If you have the money, you can have the position. You may not be qualified. You may not even have the technical know-how. You see some people displaying things on social media. This is my product.
Yeah.
Nobody goes there. No entrepreneur goes there. I like what this guy is doing. Let me promote him. Let me see, find a way to make him global. The problem with us is that we're looking for quick business. Buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell. And that was what brought us to the point that we are in. Buy and sell, buy and sell. We have not looked at, can we be innovative? Can we be creative? And the leadership, can they also promote our creativity? Now, sorry that you guys are not on native, but I know the person that started promoting native attire at the time was Obasanjo.
Okay.
At the time he made it a rule that we should start wearing adire and the other stuff. And before you know what's happening, go to most occasions now, you see virtually more than 80% are on what? On native attire. And it's also selling abroad. So until we begin to promote what we have and begin to appreciate what we have, will always be like this. It's not about now the white man's decision. It's now about ourselves. Can we look inward and change the way we do things? Okay. And so that we stop embarrassing ourselves.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Kingsley. Ramsey, he said a whole lot about looking inwards, because it's very easy to blame an external force for your own inadequacies without first knowing that you probably have a role or two to play in your predicament. So let's begin to look at us as a people. What role do you think we played in this unfortunate erosion of our culture, by Western influence?
All right, before I go to the various roles that were played by Africa and that led us to this particular situation, I still want to stress the fact that the white men came with an intentionality to favor them and not to help us. But along the way, they found out that those things we were doing not to help us favors us in one or two ways, and that's the knowledge my colleague is talking about.
Okay.
Now, the white men came with this idea of, we are more superior to these people. Let's go and exploit them. Let's go and get their raw materials so that we'll supply these raw materials to our industries abroad. Now, unfortunately for them, what they didn't know is the process of doing this, they were helping us Africans to learn more about their own culture. Now, they brought education to us. If you check the syllabus we have in the educational system today, it's an education system that will train you to beg to apply after graduation. Not a system that will train you to innovate or introduce something new. So they brought the system. Now that's what we are still following. That you go to school, they begin to reproduce knowledge that we had taught for years upon us. But now that we are already in this situation, how did we contribute to this? Number one, they influenced it. He said some of our kings sold some of Africans to them as slaves. Yeah, they influenced it. They came here, they gave us so many things that can entice us to say, if you give us these people, we'll give you this, make you more powerful. The same king, they later come to dethrone. I can make an example with the Benin Kingdom. Ovura will not buy sea thought they came in a friendly manner. He said their hearts he couldn't see because the heart is not on the palm. So they had an hidden an evil intention.
Bad motive.
A bad motive. And later they said it was just a visit, whereas it was an invasion. Later they found out that some of these things they told us about Africans were not true. They wrote so many books about Africans. Joseph Conrad, The Hearts of Darkness. And these were some of the things that Shabe wrote to debunk in his book, Things Fall Apart. That Africans, we are not cannibals. We are not practicing cannibalism. We are not barbaric. We are not lawless. Okay. We are not primitive. We have laws. We have rules. We have regulations. So the so-called civilization to me is purely a cause. It's a cause because it has stifled our creativity. Who told my grandfather on how to carve images and sell? Was it the white man that taught them how to do that? No, we did it before them. We have a name we call our gods. We have a name we call our objects, things around us, our flora and fauna. So they came with the intention of looting, exploitation. But while they were doing that, so we were fast enough to learn their tricks and ways. And we are using it against them now. So civilization, to me, has really brought us evil. So how do we contribute to this ourselves? There's what we call mental depression, mental defeat. Africans still have this mental defeat. We feel that we are inferior to them. Now, you see, most Africans believe that when the white man is present, the color is a badge of success. Our color is a badge of shame. And you see some of them, unknowingly or subconsciously, they go to the market and they want to change their skin color to that of the white man. It starts from the mentality, right? Inferiority complex. Now, we also allow them to teach us their way totally. And those ways they've taught us, it's not difficult for us to extricate ourselves from those ways. You see a young boy telling you, I'd rather behave like this and be free than to behave like this. Some of the things they envy concerning African culture is what they have come to destroy, and we are not fighting towards it. So we contributed to it a little, but the bulk of the contributions that why we behave like this is still coming from the Western people. And until we begin to realize they don't mean well for Africa. The technology we are talking about now, in the next 50 years, like let's take the next 100 years, Africans would have remained the same. We are developing in our own pace. We are introducing in our own pace. They didn't teach my great-grandfather how to prepare food. They didn't teach her how to light the fire and all that. They were not having these things there, but we are doing something. So we won't have remained like that. We have also been developing our own way. There is an African country that was not colonized, Ethiopia. Yeah. Are they not living now? They are living. So this idea of the westernization, they've brought this to us, they brought the phone, they've brought this, they've brought that. Yes, Africa would have also been developing in their own pace. Okay. They brought these things in order to get more from us.
Okay, that's a very powerful argument. Mr. Kingsley, he has said that with or without the West, we could have also advanced in our own way, right? Making reference to Ethiopia, which was never colonized by any of the colonial powers. Right? Even as we speak, I believe they even have their own calendar, right? They don't observe the same calendar that we observe. So he is saying that to an extent, it can also be argued that they are civilized, they are developed in their own right. Do you share that thought? Do you think Africa as a whole could have gotten to that point where we would say that we advanced just in the same light that you can also refer to the West as advanced?
Well, I'll say, one, you use what you have to get what you're looking for.
Okay.
The West have used what they had in terms of exposure, knowledge, and they've exploited our weaknesses, and we have fallen for it. I wouldn't say we'll probably, like, yeah, our own pace, yes, but that would have taken some time.
Okay.
Because as it stands now, the world is a global village. If you want to work with what is happening now, there will be several decades behind schedule. Several decades. Because innovations or geniuses are not so appreciated here as it is over there. Like I said, this quick things syndrome, look at Japan. It is run by just majorly two vehicles, Honda and Toyota. These are names of persons promoted. How did they get there? They closed their border, try to appreciate indigenous technology, and ensure that these things become global and become a point of value or market value. What I'm trying to say is this: what we have not used them properly. You know, it's of recent we started having a Dangote refinery working. It will suffice you to know that refining of petroleum is a very simple distillation process, and it's taking us decades to establish one. Even the ones we have existing, the four we have existing, they are just trying to get them working. Trying to get them to work normally. Now, the white men are not the ones pricing what is there. Like I said, it's a simple principle. Every average scientist knows that. How come our people couldn't do that? You know, I will tell you something that happened. Over time, there was a time we were having, if you observe, we have this nuclear fan, nuclear fridge. They were made by Nigerians. But nobody was promoting it. At the time you had Pojo. Pojo was assembled here, but at least we had the factory close to us. Volkswagen, same thing. Okay. And it was helping us. But now, ask the House of Assembly to allot money for vehicles. They'll be ordering for bulletproof car from Japan. You see, nobody succeeds when he sends his hard-earned money or hard-earned resources or hard currencies to purchase technology that's already at an advanced stage within your own country. Okay. You can imagine the level of employment that would have generated if the money had been channeled.
Aren't we supposed to have a car manufacturing company in Nigeria? Innocent Motors makes cars, right?
Obviously.
So how come we're still dependent on the, you know?
It's the, like you said, the crave for, that's why I said, they are not here. They crave the idea, the mentality that they are better, that whatever they are doing is superior. It's not true. I can tell you for sure that for some, let me just mention a particular metal now. At the time, the oil of Nigeria, the crude oil was the best because it was low in sulfur. The copper in Nigeria, the copper wire for electricity is the best. It's of high grade. There's so many things that we have that is better than what they have in the Western world. But that mindset that it came from a white man, it's a mindset. It must be better. Most of the wires that come from China can't stand the kind of voltage that we run here. Because on one, the voltage of 110 volts, we are running 240 volts. So when that kind of voltage runs through the wire, you see sparks, you see fire, you see, you know, the rubber, you know, melting. But yet we prefer it than our own product. And as long as we have that mindset to always patronize them, it means whatever we get as foreign currency, we'll ship it back to them. We need to change our mindset because they are not here. So whatever we are going through are self-inflicted. We must begin to be proud of ourselves and believe in our product that they are the best. That's what I say anywhere. My product is the best. I tell my kids or my daughter, whenever you come first, we go out and have fun. For coming first, beat all those young men. They are girls though, but I give them that, and they come out with flying colors. I tell them, forget those guys. You are better than them. I'm trying to inculcate. Not that I'm trying to actually say they're actually better. Yeah, but they do that. They go there. One was giving an award recently for having the best test. That's okay. You have to do it. You just go to the school now. You have to get the best result so that you can go to Matais. You know that it's first that takes you to Matais.
That's you motivating them.
That's a motivation. I try to build their confidence in themselves. You need to face the crowd. You know, believe in what you do. That is excellent. That is good. So when we start changing mindset, even in our curriculum he mentioned earlier, there's this inclusion of entrepreneurship. I do research sometimes with TED Fund. There are things that Africans are doing. There's one that just came out recently, and it's even going global, where they made a small park where you can keep all these vaccines and whatever. and stuff like that. Our tradomedical, you know, if you go to the medical field now, you see that some of the drugs we're taking, these synthetic drugs, they have a lot of side effects. Why don't we develop, I know we have NAFDAC approval for some of these tradomedical drugs. I do a lot of phyto-medicine. And some of these drugs that you are downplaying on, they are richer, they are safer, they are better for us. But yet we throw it aside and go and buy some terrible thing that we don't even know how they were made. They are not natural. They are synthetic. So we are not helping ourselves. We are not having this mindset that what we have is better. When Mongo Park came here, he died of malaria. We have been having that severally. Have you not asked yourself why COVID-19 never had effect on us? Because the symptom of COVID-19 is something we have been expressing usually. And we have the requisite plants and whatever herbs that caters for this stuff. So when they were calling it a global pandemic, not to Nigerians, it was not global. Even the virus is even scared of the black man. So we should respect ourselves. It could not even survive the weather that we are surviving.
Because of our natural build-up.
Yes, we are rugged. We must understand that we are rugged, we are blessed. When we change our mindset, some of these things will go. Because they keep telling us that we are inferior and we are accepting that. That's why we are suffering.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Kingsley. Now, Ramsey, there is this concept of neocolonialism, and I'm sure that has a lot to do with what he said about the kind of mindset that some of us have. You know, some persons seem to have an inferiority complex, which is why they tend to look up to the white for a whole lot of things, which is why they believe that everything that comes from the West is superior to what we have here. Don't you think that is the reason we still seem to be grappling with this problem of a low self-esteem?
Africans and Nigerians particularly are yet to fully extricate themselves from colonialism. Why did I say that? You see, some independent countries are still depending on their former colonial masters, both in administration, politics, social life, and otherwise. Now let's come to the behavioral aspect of it. You see Africans, particularly Nigerians, who still believe that until you start talking like a white man, you are not an intelligent person. Who still believe that you must behave like a white person to be a full and grown person. Or who believes that it is a white man standard that should be used in this our society to know that it's there or not. Now the problem is, we still have this inferiority in terms of mentality. And that's why Bob Marley says that until the philosophy of one race superior to another is finally eradicated, everywhere will not be war. Everywhere will be what? War. There will not be peace. The reason why he said that, because most Nigerians, when they see the white man, there is this particular feeling they have, and that's the inferiority complex. They see the color of their skin as a badge of shame instead of a badge of pride. How on earth will you just sit down to say, I no longer like my blackness, I want to become a white lady, and you remove your melanin, the outer layer of your skin, without considering the health risk, because you just want to look like a white woman or a white man? And let's come to the idea of knowledge. Nigerians still make sure that English is a compulsory subject before you get into the university. Why not make agricultural science that compulsory subject? Who said English is our mother language? But in a case like Nigeria, we know we don't have a national language yet, but there's a homegrown language already, and that's the Nigeria Pidgin. It is not a bastardization of English at all. It is a language in its own right. And if Nigeria wants to have identity, we should promote our national Pidgin and make it our national language, and extricate ourselves from this colonial apron that we've always tied ourselves to. And people are running to, they call it Japa syndrome. We are all running abroad and all that. Like he rightly said, before now we are forced to live at the shores of our countries. But now we willingly go there and come back in chains. The other day, Trump was sending some people back to their country. Or found out that they have to be in handcuffs before they are sent back to their country. What is happening? Because they believe their country is not better. What is the problem? Why do we still have this neo-colonialism? It is because we have bad leadership. Our leaders are not leaders. They are rulers. They just want to be there and enrich themselves.
Said they are dealers.
They are dealers. They are rulers. They are not leaders because they are not following us. They want to enrich themselves and become rich forever. Keep money for those you've not even given birth to. When your society is deteriorating every day, they don't have us at heart. They went there for stomach infrastructure and not infrastructure that we know. Until we begin to have good leaders who will try and eradicate these ideas from us, that we can be better if we decide to look inward. He talks about Japan, and today we celebrate them, we buy their product and all that. What are we producing in Nigeria, sir? I told someone, I said, the only thing that still make me love my country, Nigeria, because you can ease yourself anywhere. That is why Nigeria is still a very good place for us. Because in other same climb, you hardly do that. You have a place for such a thing. So there is this mentality that even the younger ones among us, and the young ones that are coming after us, are saying that if I just get to 30 or 20, I'll just leave this country. We don't care. We just want to leave our country. Jobs that we cannot do in Nigeria that are so demeaning, we take up these jobs over there. We do them. We sold our houses, our land to go abroad. Now we go there and look for money to buy land. You sold the one you have.
So it's more like
now you are going there now to look for money to buy another one.
Moving in cycles.
That is because you have this inferiority complex. You just believe that they are better than us.
Okay.
And they are not. So we have to. It must start to leave this state now. It must start from the government. The government first have to show us that we can do it independently. We shouldn't depend on any other countries again. Now the country is saying they are placing sanction on the particular politician or a particular country because of this and that. Someone can place sanction on you because he's greater than you. If I'm not coming to your country, I don't have any business with you. Placing your sanction will come to nothing.
Yeah, it won't apply to me.
It won't apply to. It will not materialize. Now look at the government. The government themselves have shown us that they still depend on certain countries in the world. Now the citizens of Nigeria also, you make us do jobs that even your animals over there will not do, because we believe that you are superior. We believe that you are knowledgeable. And in terms of knowledge, Africans are very intelligent. Of course, you know the best brains that we have in the world are Africans.
Just like Kingsley said earlier.
In terms of sport, we are there. Boxing, sport, football, mention it. And we've made our marks. In terms of education, science field and all that, we are there. So what then is happening? The only thing remaining is that to remove that mentality that we are equal or even more superior or even superior to the white man. Okay. Until that mentality is removed, we will remain like this, and there will always be neo-colonialism.
All right, thank you so much, Ramsey. Let's now begin to talk in very clear terms, right? How do we achieve that? Do you think it's wise, or do you think it will be wise for African countries to begin to decolonize our own curriculum just to be able to preserve our heritage as a people?
Yeah, I think so. You know, he said something. That's why I like sometimes I refer to the West. That's the Yoruba-speaking nation. Okay. You know that at a time when you're going for an admission in a higher institution and you don't have an English maybe for as credit, they accept Yoruba. Okay. If you have credit in Yoruba, they accept. That's how it should be. We should value what we have. Okay. A situation where someone is told that because of English language pass that he had in his WAEC result, he cannot move to the next level. Okay. Is on an unnecessary limitation.
All right. Thank you very much, Kingsley. I'm afraid this is the most we can take on the program today. I really wish we had more time, but for some very, very serious reasons, we have to call it a wrap on the show today. It's been FLIPSIDE on Independent Television. A very big thank you to my guests for taking out time to be with me on the show. Now, my name is Harry Aigbo J, and until I come your way again, same time, same station next week, do ensure you do the right thing, stay out of trouble, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.